Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Academia and Research Collective. My name is Darren Lau, and today I wanted to talk about what I did this past summer. I was actually a part of the University of Florida's Student Science Training Program, which is a summer program that UF has run since 1959. And so, what is it? Well, SSTP is a 7-week residential research program. Residential specifically means that you will be on the UF campus for the entirety of the program. You will stay in their dorms, whatever labs you are part of, you will be on campus, and you will use their facilities and get to explore a lot around campus. What you do during this program, though, is that you get to participate in graduate-level research. This means that you'll be working with professors and their PhD students, and you'll be placed in one of the many labs that UF has to offer, whether it is in computer science, engineering, molecular biology, chemistry, you name it. There was probably a spot and a lab that will fit your research interests. And the last thing we do is that we do a lot of exploration around Gainesville. And, this program is great to prepare you for college life because you're staying on campus, because you're a lot of the times you are on your own around the campus. It really gives you a taste of what it feels like to be a college student, which is something that I found to be super interesting. Now, the application for this program, there's a few components of it. First, you have to write 2 essays, which really isn't even that bad. This year, they asked us which STEM field interests you the most and describe your interest in that field. So I talked about my love of computer science and AI. And then it says, where do you see yourself academically and professionally in 10 years? How do you anticipate achieving these goals? And so I talked about the possibility of pursuing a PhD or working in the computer science industry. And so these 2 essays help your reviewers know what type of research fields that they would like to put you in. And then you describe some of your previous research experience. I talked about my work of science fairs, my augmented reality and AI projects, which I hope to make videos on pretty soon, and just talked about really all the things that I've learned there, all the programming languages and AI models that I've worked with. Of course, if you work in chemistry or biology, it will be different, but you just talk about any previous research experience that you've had. But the thing I want to emphasize is you do not need to have previous research experience to be admitted into this program. I knew a lot of students who went to UFSSTP that didn't necessarily have research experience, but through their essays, they showed that they wanted to try something new and to actually dive into academia, which I think is super cool. Then afterwards, you rank your top 3 research areas. And so I think I did computer science 1, biomedical engineering 2, and then my third one was mathematics. Now, I'm a very computer science person, but just in case they couldn't put me in a comp science lab, biomedical engineering or math were still things that I were interested in. And then you need to submit 2 letters of recommendation and then submit your transcript. And so the application itself isn't really that bad. It's kind of like a mini college application. You write some essays, you get some letter recommendations, you talk about some of your activities, you talk about your research areas, and you submit your transcripts and stuff. So it's not that bad of an application, and yeah. And now, my research focus there was in computer vision, and so AI as well. And so my project involved neural radiance fields and 3D diffusion models. And I'm specifically being vague because I actually want to make a video that dives super deep into my research project. It will be one of the videos that I'll be releasing soon as I talk about all about my research project at UF, how it happened, the people that I worked with, and what I did there. And so while I was at UF, I was actually part of the Focus Lab, which is the Florida Optics and Computational Sensor Lab. Like I talked about earlier, each person is placed in a different lab and they work with their professors and graduate students, and this was a super cool experience for me. But in a future video, I will definitely be talking a lot and diving super deep into my specific research there. Now, while at UF, I got to work at the Malachowski Build Hall right here. You can see it's UF's brand new data science and computer science building. It's a super modern, high-tech building, and I was super lucky to work here because they had awesome computer labs, awesome amenities. And so, yeah, this is where I worked. But, of course, if you're in a different lab, like a biology lab, you'll be put in like a wet lab. Maybe if you worked in material science, you'll be put in a lab that's specific to material science. And so all of the students of this program were spread out around the UF campus, which I thought was super cool. And now, our dorm situation at UF, we stayed at BD Towers. It's a bit of an older dorm, but as you can see on the right side, the layout isn't really that bad. You have 3 other roommates with you, so that's 4 people in total, 2 roommates, so 2 people in each of the bedrooms that are in the top left and top right corners, and everyone, all 4 people get to share a kitchen, dining space, and also a private bathroom, which is really nice. Communal bathrooms might not be the best thing on this planet, but you get a private bathroom here, and that was super lucky, and also the kitchen was great to cook, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then speaking of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dining, which is very important to me as well. A few great restaurants around the area. These are just a few that I personally liked a lot. And these were all within walking distance. I think the most I ever had to walk was like 10 or 15 minutes for a meal. And so a few restaurants would be Cane's, Pliables, Chipotle, and this small Thai restaurant called Tup Tim Thai. All were really, really good choices. But the best type of dining is cooking. So I was very lucky to have already liked cooking beforehand. So when I got to UF, I was able to cook very easily. But I also learned a lot of cooking skills at UF. When you're at this program, you quickly realize how expensive it is to eat out. And so every week, they take the counselors at this program take you on grocery trips where you get to run to Publix or Target and you pick up all of your groceries for the week. And you just save and you just learn how much you save by cooking instead of going out to eat. And so I learned a lot of new dishes while at UF here. I also had a great time making food with my friends. I remember one of the best things we did was all of our roommates and a few of our friends came over together and we all made fried chicken one night. We made a mess of the dining table, but it was a really, really memorable, good meal. And so definitely, if you don't know how to cook, it might be worth learning how to cook, but also you'll definitely have a chance to learn here because you get access to the kitchen as well. And then, of course, exploration. UF, at this program, every weekend, they try to take you on a trip to allow you to unwind after long hours of research. And so we went to a few different places. Most notably, one would be Busch Gardens. If you don't know what that is, that's a super large amusement park in Tampa, Florida. Another one would be, in the top right corner, you'll see image of actually Fanning Springs, which is a natural springs that's near Gainesville. Super beautiful water. We got to swim there, and it was just a super, super nice experience. We also took a mini hike around the shoreline. That was really nice. And then we also went to Lake Wahlberg, which is kind of like UF's own little lake there. So there you can kayak, paddleboard, you can jump off a dock and just swim. So these are really, really nice, exciting things. Even if you, so there's 7 weeks in the program. Every week they try to either go to a place like the ones I'm mentioning right now, or they have some kind of group communal activity, which I found to be super, super fun. And then lastly, I want to talk about that this summer program actually offers you dual enrollment college credit, which is super, super cool. And it's part of the University of Florida. And so while at the summer program, you'll actually be taking 2 classes. One of the classes, you'll learn a lot about how to do research, writing research papers, how to create posters, how to keep a logbook, which is very similar to what we're doing here at the Academia Research Collective. But also, there's another class where you get to actually elect what class they choose. And so every year at the summer program, they offer a variety of special kind of seminar classes that are taught by PhD students in their field. So they had classes like cancer biology this year, I think. What was cancer biology? They had one about neuroscience, and the one that I ended up choosing was called genomics and AI. So it was how AI was being applied to genomics and how research scientists that are using genes are using AI to actually make their lives easier. We had some great PhD students teach us all about it, and I learned a lot because my work has usually been in computer vision and augmented reality. So to learn about how AI was being applied to genomics was super, super cool, and you get college credit on top of that. And so these classes really aren't all that difficult. And so, if you're looking, this is just a side note, if you're looking for a nice GPA or a thing to raise your GPA with some dual enrollment credit, that's another benefit of this program that I thought was super, super cool. And so, yeah, that's really it. I just wanted to give a quick, brief talk about my thoughts about the UF SSTP program, what you're going to do there. I intend very soon to talk about my research project and to dive really deep into my work there because I found it to be super interesting. And the process that I went through in working in the lab was something I never experienced before. I'd always done independent research. So actually working at a lab at UF SSTP was a very, very, mind-blowing experience to me. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've been to this program, let me know your thoughts. If you're interested in applying, feel free to reach out with questions. And yeah, thank you for watching. And please, of course, like and subscribe as always. I'll see you next time.